All right, Chairman, you are set.
All right, we're going to call to order the Olivet Planning and Community Design Commission meeting for May 7th. Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Sam Wallach,
Present.
Jenna Nat is absent.
Petrie, please turn on your microphone.
Sorry. Sam Wallach,
Present.
Jenna Nat, Tim Spiegelglass,
Present.
Felicia Ford is absent, Laura Ragsdale,
Present.
and myself, Petrie Powell.
Thank you, Petrie. We also have Carlos Trejo, Director, and Dawn Doty, Senior Planner, and no Jack tonight.
He's out today.
Jack's off today. Okay. Welcome everybody. Just gonna go over how we're gonna proceed for those of you that haven't been here before.
All right.
What? Oh, also Rob Dragell, excuse me, who's sorry. It's my first day as chairman, so forgive me if I'm not hitting all my marks exactly. Rob Dragell, Chairman Emeritus to this commission, is here as well and is filling in as our liaison for the city council.
Thank you, Sam.
We're glad to have you here, of course. Okay. We're going to follow the agenda. There's a copy of the agenda in the back. We will have time for public comments right after these announcements. Those public comments are related to items not on the agenda. For the rest of the agenda items, the way to work is that staff will give a report and the commission members may ask some questions. Then we'll bring up the petitioner if necessary. They're able to talk a little bit, answer some questions from the commission, and then there may or may not be a motion and vote made on that particular agenda item. Carlos, do we have anybody on Zoom?
No, just myself.
You. Okay. For the general public that's coming up to speak, if you do have to speak, please come up to the microphone. Make sure you turn it on. The red light will come on when it's on. Make sure you say your name and your address for the record. And we request that everybody keep their comments to 3 minutes or less to be respectful of everybody's time. Okay. Anything I missed, Carlos?
No, sir.
All right. Any other announcements that you have?
And no, sir, not at this time.
Okay, great. Then we will move on to public comments not related to other agenda items. Anything? Okay, great. Then we will move on to old business. Item 3A, that's 9339 Olive Boulevard, Taco Bell. Carlos.
Chairman, we discussed this at our last meeting, April 16th, and there was some information that the commission requested that we look into. Taco Bell right now, per their adopting ordinance, which was originally a Rax restaurant, and then you have copies of those too, had hours that restricted them till 11 p.m. They'd like to change this. They had asked to go up to 2:30 p.m. And there we had a discussion with them. We talked about, how our liquor license kind of controls most of the restaurants to 1:30. But the commission asked to look at the corridor, what are the hours of operations of the various restaurants and all of that, and then also along Olive Boulevard, and then to look at other Taco Bells in that. You do have in your packet a listing of Olivet eating establishments along with their current hours of operation. And I highlighted in yellows those that went beyond 11 p.m. And I apologize for this. This one here. That should have been p.m. In there. Now, in the search, there were several of these restaurants that are not restricted to close at their closing times. A couple of them that do have liquor licenses that allow them to go till 1:30. Then I looked in University City, and the closest with the most extended hours east of Olive was the Emos, which is just on the other side of McKnight, and they are open till midnight. But then further down, there was a White Castles and a Jack in the Box, one with 24 hours, one to midnight. West on Olive, Pizza Hut and Emos down by West Oak Shopping Center. That's where the Deerbergs is on the west side. has operating hours to 1 a.m. till midnight. But their McDonald's, which is on the other side of Craig, has 24 hours. And then the Taco Bell that is way out almost towards 141 is 3 a.m. And then comparing other Taco Bells, the one on Page is 4 a.m. The one on Dorset, close to the Maryland Heights City Hall, is 4 a.m. St. Charles Rock Road, right by St. Anne, St. John, is 24 hours. And then the U City on North Skinker is 4 a.m. I did talk to the petitioner. Oh, and the other thing that was requested was the email from the Chief Andreski and her comments regarding the hours of operation in there. And you have a copy of that email. That's the third page on your packet in there. I did talk to the petitioner today, noting that there was concerns about the hours and whether 1:30 would be a reasonable time. They said that they would be appreciative if that could be extended to 1:30, and that was about it. So
Okay.
I'd be glad to answer any questions.
So they're okay with 1:30?
They would be fine with 1:30.
Okay. Any thoughts?
I mean, I thought about it this weekend, and I mean, I don't think it has an effect on us, and they should be open whatever they want to be open with.
I mean, after seeing, that almost all the Taco Bells, I think all of them are open even later than 2:30. Obviously there's a demand at that hour of the evening. I mean, 1:30 would be fine, but in seeing this, I feel like if they want 2:30, I don't know that really makes a difference. So, I'd be affirmative in either, but I think if they wanted 2:30, then we should give them 2:30. So,
I kind of agree with Petrie that 2:30, I mean, it's fine. I look at it as having a college age son that is calling and texting me at 1 a.m. and it's always out like doing stuff then. Like, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't see the huge deal, especially looking at some of these other ones. So
Yeah. My only concerns, I guess, were one was a safety issue, but the police have indicated that they're not concerned about that. And I guess noise, I think we talked about, and the plan is it to be drive-in only or drive-through only, right? So I don't think I've really got a problem with 2:30 either.
I agree with you, Sam. It needs to be just drive through though, after
Right.
11 o'clock.
I agreed, just drive through only. And there's not, I mean, right there, there's not houses right there either. So
Okay. All right. Is the petitioner here? Okay. Sure. Public comments? None? Okay. Would anybody like to make a motion and maybe add something clarifying that it's got to be drive-through only post 11 p.m.?
they close 11 now, right?
Correct.
What time do they close? Because don't they close indoor before 11?
It is possible. I didn't check on that or talk with them about it, like if the dining area closes at 9 or not. And I know on their website there's not information of what those.
I close dining room at 9 now, so.
Yeah. But is that just?
But I think that's just, it can't go past later than 11 o'clock, the
Right.
dining room is what we're looking for.
Right.
I have a suggestion. I mean, you could just change this motion to say changing operating hours of the drive-through at this time,
Good
you
point.
know, to 2:30, something like
That
that.
works too.
Would that work?
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to be the chairman and make the motion.
okay,
so
I'll make,
somebody else is gonna have to say
I'll
something.
make, I'll make the motion. Motion to authorize the approval of petition for site plan review for a change in the operating hours of the drive-through at 9339 Olive Boulevard as presented in the memorandum from the Department of Planning and Community Development dated May 7th, 2026, subject to any staff conditions noted therein.
Thank you.
I will note that the staff condition is is, and I think it's in your report on the back of page 1, is to 1:30 AM.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, how are we gonna do that then?
Can we just say amend?
What-
Amended, yeah.
2:30?
Yeah, amended to 2:30 instead of 1:30.
Thank you.
Thank you, Petrie. Do I hear a second?
Second,
Carlos, we call the roll.
Commissioner Spiegelglass,
Approve.
Commissioner Ragsdale,
approved.
Commissioner Powell,
Approved.
Commissioner Wallach,
Approved.
and the motion passes 4-0. So we'll get this written up and forwarded to the city council. The council has to be informed of the change.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. All right, moving on to new business 4A, which is 9504 Old Bonham Road.
Chairman, we received a petition for what we call a variation, unlike a variance, for the placement of a ornamental fence within the front yard setback at the property address is 9504 Old Bonham Road. 9504 Old Bonham is where they're building is one of where 2 new houses have been built. It is a corner lot. You can see Old Bonham right here, and then Bowood Court that runs this way. These houses there are several houses on Bowood Court that face the street on the west side, but on the east side, it's just the rear of a bunch of properties, or 2 or 3 properties in there. So they do have a corner lot, and what they would like to do is put a rear yard fence enclosure that is 4 feet ornamental, so it's over 50% open, to extend beyond the garage up to 5 feet from the right of way, and then from the right of way, there's at least another 7 to 8 feet before you get to the actual curb in there. Our ordinance restricts the height to 3 feet, but authorizes the commission through the variation process, which is a site plan review, that you have the ability to grant a waiver in that, but the petitioner needs to indicate what they're doing in that process. They will also propose to put landscaping in front of that fence to kind of block the view, and we do have a representative for the property owner that is here. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
So how much taller is this than the 3 feet?
The 3 feet would have been done administratively. They were looking for 4 feet.
Okay.
Does this have to do with the retaining wall that we approved last time?
No, because the retaining wall would be enclosed. They do have the new owner has a dog that they're trying to keep within the fence area. And I'll give you, the street view is not very good because the houses don't exist yet. We're not in place, but it'll give you a little bit of idea of what's down in that road. So I'm going to go towards the end of Bowood and then head north towards Olive. So you could see the houses here along Bowood on the western side. And then this is the eastern side. It's the back of end of several properties. This is the closest neighbor, which the grades fall, and that's where the retaining wall is being placed. And then this is the property, but of course I don't have the new house isn't there yet.
Can you tell us the fence, it's an ornamental fence, so it's not a monolithic wood fence that
That
is
is
a
correct.
privacy fence? Okay.
Yes.
I mean, for me, I would not want to go above the 3 foot if it was a solid wood fence, but
Absolutely.
if it's ornamental, I'm okay with it, but I'd want that in the motion.
And I think this is the spec that's before you today, and I'm sorry I can't rotate it. It won't. But it is a 4 foot tall, black aluminum ornamental fence.
Can you go back to the Google Maps
Absolutely.
view?
So I'm gonna kind of move it all the way to Old Bonham and then turn around and start looking southward. So here's Old Bonham. The fence is roughly gonna kind of be aligned where this green tree protection area is.
That's what I was gonna ask about. And, right, about, is it about there, and isn't that about that orange and green fences.
It's
typically
gonna
like
start back
5
here. The
foot?
new house kind of sits, here's the driveway, so it won't start to about right here. But it's kind of aligned with this green,
So it'll be a little shorter than that orange fencing, I think.
yeah, or just about the same height.
About the same height?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else have any questions for Carlos? Rob? No? Okay. Yeah, petitioner, remember to turn it on, state your name and address, please.
John Trevilian, and I represent the new homeowners at 9504 Old Bonham. And so the couple of the issues is they do have a dog, a lab, and they're concerned that a 3 foot may just not be tall enough to contain the dog. The other issue is that I almost feel like a 3 foot fence is something that somebody could jump. A 4 foot fence is something that maybe they'd have to climb. So that would be an issue. The other thing is that as you're looking at the house from the street, from Old Bonham, the fence would still be on the back side of the house. So it would not exceed past the front building line, which I think is a positive. We've set this back off of the street sufficiently, and then we've got layers of planting in front of it, so the fence will really be very softened. And I think the other thing is that even though we're going to be planting the retaining walls, this does add added security for people that, they cut through or want to get from one yard or one street to the other street, just another house away, there's another side street. So it could theoretically be a cut through if people wanted to make it. The house directly behind it, that's kind of at the bottom of the picture there, theoretically could put a 6 foot privacy fence right up against Bowood Court there, because that is their backyard. So in essence, we could be running a 4 foot fence right into a 6 foot fence that's even closer to the street. So I think this is a fairly reasonable request, and it is not going to be very invasive at all. So.
Any questions for the petitioner? Okay.
Very good. Thank you.
I do want to clarify that one statement is correct, and just, but it's good for the commission to know. When you have a property where your front yard is along, of course, is along a street, but your backyard is along another street and you have no access to that street, you can put a 6 foot tall privacy fence running all the way across. And I think that there is one now here. This is all a wooden privacy fence that runs
It's not
across.
shown in the picture,
Yeah.
but there is an existing fence along that side street.
Okay.
Okay, thank you all for your
Thank you.
consideration.
Thank you. Yep.
And Chairman, if the notes can reflect that both Commissioner Nat and Commissioner Ford came in at 7:12.
Thank you, Carlos. Okay. Any other questions or any other discussion? If not, somebody like to make a motion?
Public comments?
Public comments, you got to do that. Any public comments? Seeing none? Would anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead.
A motion to authorize a petition for a site plan variation for the property address as 9504 Old Bonham Road for a 4 foot black aluminum ornamental fence as presented in the memorandum from the Department of Planning and Community Development dated May 7th, 2026, subject to any staff conditions noted therein.
Second. Hearing a second. Carlos, would you like to call?
Okay. And Chairman, I'm going to call the full commission. Ms. Nat and Ms. Ford can decide they want to abstain or they had enough information. Commissioner Spiegelglass,
Approved.
Commissioner Ragsdale,
Approved.
Commissioner Nat,
Approved.
Commissioner Ford,
Approved.
Commissioner Powell,
Approve.
Commissioner Wallach,
Approved.
and the motion passes unanimously 7-0. Thank you.
Very good.
6-0, I'm sorry.
All right. Moving right along to item number 5, that's the 2024 comprehensive plan update.
Chairman, I'm going to ask if we can get to, if it is okay, if we can discuss the other business, 1160 Walters Way. There's a group here that would like to present, and we can give them an opportunity. They have a prepared slide presentation.
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
there. So bear with me 1 second, and let me get a, just so you have an idea on the location. So we're right here. Here's our city centers right here at this location. And right behind us is the Dealman Industrial and North Price Industrial Parks. This is the U.S. Bank facility that was before us a couple of months ago. And then, of course, the Emerson now operates in this facility that used to be owned by Enterprise. And you can see this grassy area here. There is actually a vacant lot right there. Lot's been vacant. I think it was subdivided in the early 2000s. And it has been undeveloped since it was subdivided. We've had 2 previous petitions that I can recall since I've been here. One was the original subdivider was going to build a microchip facility on those grounds, and that was back around 2004, 2006, and then it didn't happen. And then right around the pandemic area, we had a petitioner that was looking to do a private dog park. I don't know who was here at that time.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that also didn't come to fruition. Mr. McLaren and along with his team are looking at that property, and they were been in discussions with us about creating a commercial private user garage facility for the storage of upscale vehicles, but these facilities would be condoed. So you would purchase like a garage, and then you can, set up your garage as you wish, and then store items in there. And he's going to go through that concept in there. Just wanted you to get a background on there.
How
So,
big's that lot, Carlos?
do you recall? It's a little over an acre. Yeah, and it met that standard. And then that depth though is that's been, to me, that's been one of the hard parts of trying to get this developed. Is it's a shallow depth, probably about 120, 200. Yeah. So all right, Mr. McLaren, I do have the that will be set up for you, and I'll get your presentation up in just a second.
Thank you for allowing us to be here.
I'm sorry, please turn on your microphone.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
That works. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thank you very much. My name is Mark McLaren. My business partner, Linda Swaney, behind me. We have another business partner also not here today. Do appreciate the opportunity to introduce you to probably a new concept, but I think it's an interesting development opportunity for the city of Olivet. So I don't know how many of you have heard of a car condo. Has anybody heard of a condo? I got one taker. Okay. They are a developing type of storage for a very specific set of people. But before I go there, one of the things I was doing is I looked through your old 2006 plan, the Catalyst plan. I was looking through your 24 plan. And one of the things I noted in the 2006 is there's a line in there that I think is appropriate for this. And that is often windows of opportunity present themselves, but they're fleeting. And that's what car condo development is. There are going to be a limited number of car condo developed in any given city because there's only a specific target market, and it's not that big. So we only have one here in St. Louis right now. I'll cover that in a minute. But they're popping up all over the country. If you just kind of, first of all, let me come back a minute. We have one person who knows what a car condo is, so let me give you a little look and feel. If you see your screens, I think all of you have it in front of you. Okay, perfect. The look and feel of these, just think of a very well-appointed garage, right? A well-appointed self-storage facility, right? Interior, they start off fairly basic. They can be then upgraded to anything you really wanted to do. These are all individually owned, so all is tailored to the individual. Right, so take now your self-storage facility you drive up and you throw your boxes into. and just glamorize it quite a bit. That's really what we're talking about, and make it larger. Quite frankly, these are obviously a lot larger than an individual storage facility. They are popping up everywhere in every city across the country, and not a lot of them, as I said. So every city gets 2 or 3. Chicago obviously has a bunch. Dallas has a bunch. There's a big concentration down in Florida, where a lot of wealth is it's not starting to accumulate, has been accumulating for a long period of time. But every city is starting to put these in some level. And we have got a few here in Missouri and in St. Louis. Over in Kansas City, there's 4 or 5 of them, actually. Lake of the Ozarks, there's 3 of them right now, and one of the biggest ones I've ever seen is right on the lake by the old toll bridge. If any of you are familiar with that toll bridge, which is no longer a toll bridge, I believe. I'm not a Lake of the Ozarks person, but I believe that's no longer a toll bridge. Huge development right there overlooking the lake. They're actually going to have a huge clubhouse, pool, pickleball courts, the whole shebang. We're not proposing that on a 1.4 acre site. This is a much more scaled down version of what we're talking about. To give you an idea of the ones here, this is the one at Lake of the Ozarks, right by the dam. Very nicely done. They are in the early stages of its development. They probably have I'd say 1/4 of their garage is already built. They still have 3/4 left to go. Over in Kansas City, they've got a beautiful one called the Lux. Obviously, as you can see, these are targeted to a wealthy group of people. And we see these as wealth attractors, bringing wealth and people with wealth into the community to spend more money in different areas. If we look here in St. Louis, there is one. It's down by the Chesterfield Airport, and it was built, I think, 2018, give or take. Another one will be built at some point in time, but there won't be too many more here in the St. Louis area, just because there's just not that market for it. What we want to do is we want to propose to put one here in Olivet, the center of St. Louis, where people can come and we can attract from all around to be able to have their opportunity to be here in Olivet at this particular development. What we'd be looking at, this is the one down in Chesterfield, what we'd be looking at from our standpoint is a similar design as we just talked, or as Carlos just showed you where it would be, is right back there in that industrial park. This is obviously from one of your strategic plans in the 3 different areas. We're in that industrial area within there, and it's zooming in, going in further, as Carlos already showed you, we're right there by the Emerson parking lot in that 1.4 acres. So what would it look like? As I said, this would be a luxury type of development. So we would have a very high level of finish, a very appropriately done and tastefully done landscaped area, which would attract people probably coming in straight in from Ladue, straight in from Clayton, some people from here in Olivet, maybe further away, maybe go to Frontenac, maybe go further out. My gut is you attract people from less than 5 miles away. We're pulling in from Clayton, Ladue, Frontenac, just to come into here, have their facilities. What do they do with it? It's not just a place to come park your garage or your car in your garage. It's a place to come socialize. It's a place where they come, they appoint the interior as however they might appoint it. I've got a couple different versions here I want to show you. They might appoint it any way they particularly feel, any level of luxury or lack of luxury they particularly want, but they are going to be coming to socialize with their friends. Likewise, there will be a lounge on property, not a bar or anything, like just a private lounge where they can go in and sit down and bring in their own food or drinks and sit down and talk with their friends. Outdoor patio area as well. They'd be able to engage, probably have little block parties. We've seen that many times in these developments where they get together, 3 or 4 or 5 of the residents of the facility get together and they have their little party, look at their cars and enjoy their space together and with their friends. So that is effectively what we're talking about. I think what it creates is the opportunity for Olivet to have something that will be talked about in the community. It will be talked about in St. Louis. And it will attract a group of people that will bring funding, money, wealth, and spending into the city of Olivet. So, question we have is, can we do it within the confines of what we're talking about in the city of Olivet? Right now, it's zoned light industrial. I don't think it's black and white within the zoning rules that this works. Storage works, warehouse works. So the question then, would this be allowed to work? One of the things that Carlos identified is the function of these is for individual ownership. So we would basically subdivide and declare a condo association with each person owning their own garage car condo. So we've currently built it out, or as we've designed it, for 18 individual condos plus a lounge, a community lounge and patio area. So you'd have 18 individual condos and then a condo association owned community area, amenity area. That is commonly how all communities across the country are doing it. And if we look at the other communities within St. Louis, that's just an above shot, if you will, how it would lay out on that property. If we look at how the other properties in Missouri have done it, the two that I pulled up at Lake of the Ozarks, I was able to get their documents for, did exactly what we're talking about. They did a subdivision of the property and declared condo association. If you go over to the Chesterfield, the place, exactly the same scenario. Set up a subdivision, declared condo association. And the one over in Kansas City, exactly the same. I could honestly go on every location I could dig up would be a very, very similar pattern. So we would look to the city to have some type of authorization, approval, whether it's through a special permit, to allow the owners to subdivide, well, to allow us to subdivide and allow the ownership to be divided into condos. With that, I don't have anything more, so I'm happy to take on questions.
Would you mind going back to the floor plan that, yeah,
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
understand?
So this is approximately what they would be. As you can see in the upper left, you've got 25 foot by 60 foot. Honestly, one individual could say, hey, I want two of those together, and we would combine them into one. If somebody wants to come in and say, we want 5 of them together, we could combine them into 5. I don't think that makes the most sense, but certainly somebody could do that. We can do these in any number of different sizes. You can see the two on the far right are 25 by 75 foot. That's a pretty common size out there. 25 by 60 foot is a pretty common size. The ones on the front are a little bit smaller, 25 by 50. That's just recognizing market differentiation. None of those are set definitively as a size at this moment. Until we know we can definitely go forward, we're not going too much further with exactly specifying what sizes are going to be there, but they'll all be very, very close to this size because that footprint of that lot will only allow for so much variation in our ability to design it because it's a tight lot.
Would you have any employees?
No,
No employees.
no
Who's
employees.
manning the lounge and patios? There's food, beverages,
Be a
nothing like-
condo association. They would not, it would be a condo association in a common area. So it'd be no different than a condo having a lobby. And if they wanted to have a little party down there in the lobby, they bring their own food and drink and have a party in the lobby.
So is this all like laid out in bylaws for the condominium
Yes.
association? So there's no on-site security unless the condo association chooses
Correct.
to have security?
If the condo association said, we're going to have a security, they could have security. There will be a perimeter fence. If you see on the left side, if you're looking at that, there's a green line between the two garages. That's basically a wall. Same thing on the right, same thing on the lower bottom, and then that would be a gate. So it would be closed off, secure facility for them. But if they wanted to have security, they could have security.
Carlos, do we typically require a peek at any kind of bylaws or condo association governing documents to ensure that there are rules about the partying that might be occurring or, limitations on use, time, that kind of thing?
Yes,
Okay,
they'd be submitting that to the city for review before
Okay.
recording.
okay, that's all I wanted.
So would you drive any revenue other than through selling the
Property taxes, property revenues, transfers of that. Outside of that, there would be no sales taxes going on. There's nothing being sold there.
No.
At the same time, there's no use of city services, no school use, no other use. You'll have water and they'll pay for that.
Right.
But water and sewage, which
And do you have bathrooms in each one of these facilities?
they can. We'll plumb them for it.
Okay.
The individual buyer will determine whether they have a bathroom put in or not.
And when you guys build these, do you build them all at one time or you build them as you sell
We'll build all of it at one time. We probably won't start building until we've pre-sold half of them,
them? Okay.
but we'll build all of them at that time. We'll probably do the back part first and then the front part, but we'll build it all at once. We're not going to just build, stop, build, stop, build, stop.
And is your plan to do the same cobblestone driveway and all the stuff that we saw on that?
Right
Right
now,
now?
yeah.
Okay.
Budgets can change that, of course, but
Of course.
right now, yes. The design that you saw, if I go back, actually, because that one doesn't have a back wall. Let me come to that one. It's got a back wall. That's as close to current plan as we've got.
I have a silly question.
There's no silly question when we're talking car condo.
How do the cars get in and out? You got, landscaping in front of it.
So if I come back, right, so that you got an entry right there, that landscaping doesn't, sorry, that's just an image. So let's assume you drive in right there and then you're just driving in. That cobblestone goes all the way up to the door. That image right there, the landscaping shouldn't be around the
Okay.
center.
In the other picture, they showed the.
Yeah, that's got the landscaping in there. Yeah, that's artist rendering. Not exactly what I was looking for, but close.
Do you have people that spend the night here?
No.
Okay.
So they're not built for spending the night overnight. They're not built for residents. And quite frankly, I think you'd probably put that in the condo association bylaws.
Your lobby area or,
Mhm.
kind of, what are the typical hours of operation there?
Well, because these are condo owned, we wouldn't set any rules on the lobby. If the city wanted to set rules, I think we discussed that, but
Yeah.
we wouldn't typically set hours.
Okay.
Honestly, once this is sold out, we're gone. And the condo owners do whatever they do within their condo bylaws.
So every condo owner would have a key then to that lobby space?
Mhm. Absolutely.
Can you tell us how much these go for?
I can. Depend on your market.
It was on the one slot.
Oh, it's on there. I didn't catch it. Sorry.
Which one had it on here?
460.
There.
There you go. So those are in Kansas City. Kansas City also has in that same development one that is currently for sale for $800,000. I have stood in one down in Naples, Florida that the guy was selling for $1.2 million. We're not going to have a $1.2 million car condo here in Olivet, but supply and demand. There's never a lot of these. So, and they are targeted towards a specific group of people that want to feel like they have something special.
So why the industrial park of Olivet?
That's a great question. Multiple reasons. Number one reason is the central aspect of Olivet is really an important component to us because we can pull from potential all around the area. Your demand area is pretty meaningful for us because we reach it all the way to the city. We reach out west to maybe even Chesterfield. I don't think we'll need to go that far. I think we'll get a closer group. You are in a wealth concentrated area, right? If you drive down Dealman, all of a sudden those house values start just popping up very, very rapidly. So it's very central in proximity to the wealth that would need to sell these and to buy these would be the biggest aspect. Easy access right off of 170 here, easy access from the west, easy access from the city if you're coming in. So it's a very good location, centrally located, and located near the people that would actually buy these.
So, Carlos, this is probably premature, but it seems like there's some question about whether or not this type of use is permitted in
Yeah,
that space or.
The key comes into more than the condo aspect of it. So right now, as the light industrial district, you can have storage. Auto Beauty has storage facilities in there. Questionable whether it requires a special permit in that process. So they can store vehicles. If they were building a building to store vehicles, it's permitted in the LID district. The second thing, through a special permit process, the LID district also permits mini storage. We approved that. We made a zoning change probably around 2012 or so, plus or minus, in that time to allow somebody who had interest of doing a mini storage facility like you see up at Page and in Dealman. One of the U-Haul types where you had the individual places, and then also for some outdoor boat and RV type of storage. So the code was amended, but placed as a special permit, so it gave the commission a little bit more latitude and the council the final say in there. So again, this kind of falls under both umbrellas. So if Mr. McLaren was building this facility for the purposes of this facility would have multiple storages and they were rented out, it's probably a special permit process. However, because they're being condoed, then the land area becomes the conflict within the code that needs to get resolved, because all of a sudden you will have these, the standard room was about 20 by
20 by 60,
yes,
25 by 60, sorry.
so you have a 1,200 square foot lot, or in there. So we would have to come up with a mechanism to allow a condoing of property within the light industrial district. We have those mechanisms already in residential districts. So we do have condos, and we do have, where you have a land area, but within that land area, you can have smaller lots and put in place. We don't have that for the light industrial district. So that would be the key change in there. So again, the use would be consistent. It's just trying to make the condo aspect work.
What
Now,
about the office park?
Which
Um,
Olivet Office Park, right off of,
yeah,
I don't think those are condoed, not that I'm
I
aware
didn't
of.
know if any of them were.
No, they're individual parcels. We do have one where the building is kind of split, but it's a parcel line. And then the parcels that were created have like let's say an acre and an acre.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, the minimum lot size in the LID district is 1 acre. This lot meets that requirement. But to create a sub lot, I'll call it, of 1,200 square feet, I would need a mechanism. We need something in our ordinance to make sure that that would be covered to allow it to be sellable.
Okay.
So it is doable. Other places have them in there. But then that brings on the planner side aspect of it is like, okay, once you authorize or permit condoing within the industrial park, there are other properties then that could take advantage of doing that. And there's nothing wrong with doing condos in there, but it does open a new realm, like you said, in the office park where somebody could then, do condos in there. And you kind of deal with condos just the same way you would do with a subdivision. You have an entity, an association that you deal with that's responsible for, everything within that area, and then individuals that are responsible within the space. And that's always just, how well the indentures are written, to the city's favor to make sure that, these things are up to date, maintenance is being done, if there were requirements for security or there were requirements on hours of operation and those type of things.
So question, if this moves over to a condominium versus industrial, and we look at this from a residential standpoint, then does the installation and the build out need to meet the same requirements? What's the R rating?
The use will always be industrial. So it
Okay.
it wouldn't be as, it would always be done, and I'm going to use it, the international, the IBC, not the IRC, which is a different residential building code. So they will be designing to meet a commercial or industrial building standard. Even if they conduit, they're conduing the warehouse space for each one of those. Does
Is
that
there,
address?
I'm wondering if there's a concern of noise.
Well,
Because if there's
I think,
somewhat of a habitation going on, then do we need to be concerned or?
It's commercial property all the way around.
But I think that's where your bylaws and your condominium association rules would dictate, and that's why I asked whether we saw those so that we could say your hours of operation can't be over a certain thing and, you know, the amount of residentializing an industrial space has to be very limited or whatever. But I think all of that would be addressed in the association bylaws.
correct. And I think too, you know, as a special, if it is considered as a special permit, I mean, the location's ideal. There is no residence around here. Now, if you go here we have these small incubator spaces, you know, that may not be the best or ideal space because it's so close to some of the residential in there. And again, through a special permit process, the commission and the council have quite a bit of leeway of restricting where they can and can't be. You know,
And if I may, real quick, the clientele we're talking about, the ones that can spend $500,800 on the garage with for their 50,000, 100,000, 250,000 car, we've never seen to be the party type, right?
Yeah,
They're
their kids might be.
might be. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Yeah.
I mean, you know, teenagers are like, let's go over to dad's condo
Yeah.
in Olivet and have a big party. You know, that was the first thing that occurred to me was not the adults, it's the children of the adults that I would be more concerned about.
Sure. And I mentioned, you asked me a question on why there. I said two parts, and I didn't come to the second part, so I'd like to cover that. Is the name of this is the lair, right? Part of that is it's this little tucked away, hidden away oasis for the owners of this. The property we're talking about is a perfect definition of that. So we spent a lot of time trying to find a location that fit all of our matrix, and this really does it.
Do you have like CO sensors in there, exhaust fans? Do people
Oh, yeah.
start the cars and?
Yeah, so there's
Show
fire
them.
suppression
Yeah.
sensors for the exhaust. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I have what might be a strange question. Just because, okay, if you're bringing your car and parking it and leaving it, is there parking for people that are gonna, you know, if they're.
Come
gonna
visit
pick
their
up-
car?
Yeah.
They're going to drive their car to visit their car? Great question. Very, very great question. There's parking in front, I mean, all these spots are 25, each door is 25 foot wide or each bay. So they park right in, typically what occurs is people park right in front of their space. And then there is space in the design for 3 or 4 side parking spots on the property. But most of the people pull up to their spot, open their door, go in and do their thing.
I can't imagine that arch design parking lot is ever that full either,
Unless the teenager's having a party.
but.
Do you ever have people that try to sell high performance cars out of these garages? Make it like a showroom?
Not that we've seen, no. I've not seen that at all. Honestly, one of the designs we've got that actually has a showroom, and not this footprint isn't big enough, but a previous footprint that Carlos and we sat down on some time ago, which is a bigger property, not too far away. We actually had a showroom on it for the car dealerships, the high-end car dealerships, to rotate through having to show their fancy cars to their potential customers right there on the spot. This property doesn't fit that bill because it's not large enough. But I think you could see that. We've not seen it. That was actually a unique thing that we felt we were bringing to the market, but that property didn't work out for a couple of different reasons. I'd love to see that on a development, but this property wouldn't do that.
All right. Well, I mean, I'll just say for myself, like, I would love if this was a business that employed 1,000 people, in Olivet, but to Carlos's point, this property has been sitting vacant for.
it's been since it was created around 2002.
Okay,
You know,
so
we looked at
over
various.
20 years. And so a unique use like this is definitely interesting. So sounds like a couple of things maybe to figure out, but doable.
It's very intriguing. Yeah.
I think it would be a great addition to Elva. Honestly, we don't have anything like it. No other city has it around us. This is what we're looking for, a unique thing that's nice and luxury. Like, that's a good thing to invest in our community like that.
I agree. And I don't know how many of you frequent down Warson often, but right before the new, before our community center on the other side, there's all the really nice fancy cars.
RP exotic.
That,
Yeah.
whatever it's called. All I know is they have all these really awesome cars sitting outside all the time, right there. Yes. That when my son, before he could start driving, we always had to like go really slow past there. You're driving too fast, Mom. And I couldn't go slow enough. I'm like, they're like, so, you know, but yeah, so I can see a need. So.
Okay.
There's definitely a need in St. Louis. There's a lot of nice car dealerships that nobody knows about in St. Louis that
You are correct.
very, very nice.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I'm happy to take any other questions you have. I'm sure I'll be back here at some point in time too to take questions, but thank you.
Great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. I appreciate it.
We can think of a certain ex-council member that might
Yes.
be interested in that.
Yes.
All right, Carlos, do we want to go back to the comprehensive plan or you want to skip that for tonight? How do you
You
feel
can
about
go ahead and skip that for tonight.
Okay.
We're short, so it's been Don and I, she got
Carlos?
some maps together. You want to go ahead and show real quickly or? do you-
Nobody can hear you though on the recording. I can.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just late.
Don's gonna join us via Zoom in the other room. We're just gonna show the maps real quick in that process. While
Okay.
she's moving, I can go, you do have a set of meeting minutes. Mr. Carswell had put together, so you have the November 6th, 2025, and that should complete all of 2025.
Okay. So acknowledged. If anybody has any comments on the meeting minutes, please let us know.
On other items, I can give you some of the reports real quickly while she's getting set. Party in the Park is scheduled for tomorrow. Please note that it's been relocated to Five Oaks as opposed to Stacy. That's to anticipation if there is rain, then they can move indoors. So again, if you plan to attend Party in the Park tomorrow, it will now be at Warson Park at Five Oaks. In there. Then there is a pet adoption event here at the police department with fire department. Council is May 12th. And then our next meeting is May 21st. And there, I know we're getting close to the end of school and graduation, so just if you could just shoot me, Jack or Don, an email. If you have a conflict, let us know. And then we'll coordinate from there. Offices are closed, of course, for Memorial Day. City Council on the 26th, blood drive on the 28th, and then our meeting schedule for June is the 4th and 18th, and then in July are the 2nd and 6th. I also know it's getting to summertime, so give us a heads up if you have family events or activities that are going on in there. I already gotten some information in there, and it's just so we can give a heads up to applicants if I do have a quorum issue in there. The council.
Carlos, sorry, just interrupt.
I won't be here the 21st for a graduation. May 21st, yes.
And I may not be available either.
Is July 2nd and 6th correct?
Did I mess up on those?
16th?
Fridays?
Maybe.
I think it's the 3rd. Because the 4th is a,
So
Oh,
it
no.
is July 2nd and July 16th.
16th, okay.
I won't be here July 2nd.
Neither will I.
Excellent. Go ahead. And
No,
Don
well-
will be with you in just a second. All right.
And I will be out in the month of June.
All right. Then going back, just to kind of wrap up some of those items before starting with Ms. Doty. Let me get back here. So that's the schedule. Again, giving you a heads up. If so, council validated the votes in April. And of course, Mr. Drigel is now a council member. Our new liaison will be council member Kate Pashon Hellman in there, but she had a conflict today, so Rob is sitting on her behalf in there. And then they have posted for the vacancy that was created with Mr. Drigel's election. And I believe that will be in a June, July decision, so that person would start in August in there. So,
And if anybody has any ideas of people, let Carlos know, or let me know, that'd be great. This is one that we need an engineer, correct?
well, the requirements for the coverage are complete.
Okay, good.
However, what value added would be the have somebody engineer. We will have Mr. Spiegelglass
Yeah.
with his construction background, but you've always been kind of like our engineer aspect. And then of course we have Ms. Nat with architecture,
Yeah, yeah.
2 attorneys, planner, and then Ms. Ragsdale's been our kind of our resident
Yeah.
in there. Now, 4 of the 7 members have to fall under that criteria, which we do have.
Good.
However, it's just someone bringing that could help us in some of that expertise. I did talk to our city manager, and noted that it'd be good to get somebody with an engineering background.
Yeah, I think so. So if anybody knows it,
When you say engineering, can you specify, are you talking?
More like civil and site would be helpful to assist us, like both with the, stormwater or infrastructure types of review or plans. I mean, and our staff is capable, and we do have our public works director in there, but it's always good to have that outside eye or somebody that has that background expertise.
could also see mechanical. I mean, I know they won't have this, the grading and things like that, but, especially if we're looking at sustainable,
That's true, too.
ideas, things like that. That might
Okay, great. Great.
I am ready. I finally got the audio going so I could hear you.
Okay, 1 second. Anything
Okay.
else?
No, I was just going to say quickly, had my first meeting, which is exciting, but I'll tell you, it's kind of like drinking from a fire hose. It's a lot of it. So it's exciting, it's fun, but it's busy. But we are currently trying to finalize next fiscal year's budget. We're also finalizing the council goals, kind of what we want to try to kind of have implemented, and kind of how we're going to do that. I also took advantage of touring the MSD sewer plant down in Maryland Heights. It was, they offered it to, anybody in, municipal governments and stuff. And I was the only one that showed up.
Personal tour.
I got my personal tour. There's like 5 people all taking me around. And stuff
So
like
instead
that.
of 5 minutes, they gave you the 3-hour tour as well.
I'll tell you, it was fascinating. It was very fascinating. And, I was expecting the odors to be overwhelming, but it really wasn't that bad. They implemented some new bioreactor, and they pull the air right from where, the sewage comes into the plant. And it's amazing how effective that was. So it's very interesting. It's new technology that might be helpful in other aspects of things.
Very good. Maybe we'll have to do a field trip.
Yeah, they'd be happy to see.
I want to visit the car place down in Naples, please, instead.
Well, we'll see if we can get the city to pop for that.
It's not in the budget. I'll tell you that.
Strike that, sorry. All right, Dawn.
All right. So here is a display of the various parcels in the northwest quadrant and this set in front of you, or this color scheme, is the parcel frontage. So and the way the colors go is that the smaller the parcel frontage, if we have that data at all, is in the pink, and the large frontage is in the green. So it's divided up in that way, so that you can tell which, where your concentrations are of the low frontage as far as number of feet. So obviously a lot of the end lots, your regular frontages either they don't have the numbers, or it is, it's definitely, below that 40. And that's kind of where the thresholds are. If whenever you are 100, you start, or when you have a parcel frontage of 100 feet, then you're getting into the yellow, and over that is green.
So the purposes of the map is to kind of illustrate, we have one residential zoning district that's applied throughout the city in there. And under that district, the minimum lot width is 100 feet, and the minimum lot size is 15,000 square feet. Now, every lot that's legal can be redeveloped or added onto, as long as it's a legal lot of record. However, when we apply this one district fits all approach, they have to meet the same setback standards regardless of their width. So if you had the typical 100-foot lot, you can have, your side yard setbacks are 12% of your lot width, or 12 feet. If you have a 75-foot wide lot, which the majority of these fall, or probably that's probably the average, you still have to meet the 12% width. So that, as we're trying to apply this uniform setback standard on all lots, regardless of the width or so, I think what we want to go, or have the commission kind of take a look at, is, are there enough unique lots that a different subdivision, a different residential district can be created? And I think this kind of illustrates that need. If they were ideal lots, you would see them more in that palish color, but there's not that many. And you can see all of these lots in this general area are below 100 feet, but yet we're applying the same setback in there. The reason we want to take a look at it is that they have a difficulty. Most of these lots have a one-car carport or a one-car enclosed garage, and they could be within 5 feet from the property line. And I think that, we to assist them to invest in their properties, not necessarily to encourage the tear down, but to invest in those properties, is to make those garages or other aspects of the house more usable. And that would be by giving them more, greater ability to utilize their full lot width, as opposed to trying to impose the same standard that we're doing on a 100-foot lot in there. In addition to that, there are other setbacks and approaches that we can take a look at. So so these lots are not kind of tied into being unable to do add-on or enclosure because of the current setback situations. It's not a fix-all, but within this area, we have at least 4 different type of housing types. These lots here are between 50 and 60 feet in width. These lots here are, average probably about 75. Then you have the attached homes here on Hilltop Manor, and then you have a cluster of some larger lots right here in this square. So
I
we're just
also
gonna
have the area, or by area. So I mean, as you can imagine, it's not completely identical, but there are larger lots and there are smaller lots. So this really highlights the amount of smaller lots in this area, and they are going to be obviously, as you apply the setbacks as a percentage of the width, it just takes that total parcel acreage down.
Would you consider applying this to other,
Correct. This is a pretty nice controlled area to take a look at how many different zone, residential, land area types there are. But this area is somewhat reflective of Chevy Chase, Magnet Lane, and some other properties, Cherry Tree and Harvest Lane, off of Old Bonham, or infield, in there. Where
Do you want me to go to that area
No, it's okay.
with the
Um,
parcel frontage?
No, because I'm gonna go back, these lots are more reflective of what you might see in Indian Meadows, though some of those are larger, so it has a, whatever Olivet did in 1985, prior to 1985, Olivet had multiple residential zoning districts. In 1985, they took an approach that is reflective of what U City has, where they just did one residential zoning district. And that's how it's applied. Creep.
Do we know why they did that?
is there anybody we can ask or give some of the older, yeah,
No,
Really?
not that I know.
okay.
Where in Creve Coeur, there are 4 single-family residential districts. There's along Malcolm Park to some of the larger ones you see down at Fernview in the western side. And I think that, so it gives a little bit more flexibility about that usability. I think this one district fits all approach. Hampers some, it might have been the goal was that the city wanted at the time. Now our comprehensive plan is saying we should start looking at smaller lots in an effort to try to control affordability.
Carlos, what are some of the common concerns about making a change like this?
Stormwater, because that's gonna be built there. But there are mechanisms and ways to control that. The process of trying to keep it. The other thing is, again, what is a reasonable setback? We have some subdivisions that will allow 5 feet. The other thing, more the smaller lots or the tighter lots should be a bigger concern, because now heights
Carlos, is your microphone off?
Oh, it is now. Sorry, Doc.
I think this is a great start.
And again, I think it's a good area just to kind of look at the different in there, because we'll see a lot of this same pattern is going to exist west of Dealman and south of Olive.
Okay, good.
Don, anything else you want to add?
No, I'm good.
Okay, great. Thank you, Dawn.
Well,
All right. Well, any other reports, Carlos?
Yes,
Or-
sir.
All good?
All good.
All right. Anybody else got anything? Okay. That being the case, we'll call the meeting to a close at 8:13.
Thank you, everyone.
Good job,
Thank
Sam.
you.
Wow. Before